This is CEMTV, reliable news and entertainment.
Good morning to you, wonderful residents of Port Harcourt, River State, Nigeria, and the world at large. How are you doing this morning? I hope you're doing quite well, because of course I now have a place in my bucket list to visit when I go on a vacation, or perhaps when I've decided to give myself that much needed time to rest and lay back. I'll go to where our weather what was that your name again? I want you to say it by yourself.
The weather oracle.
Exactly.
The weather oracle.
The weather oracle, where she recommended. And I hope you were there to see it, because as far as I'm concerned, I love bird watching. Once she mentioned bird watching, I was like, that's for me. I want to see rare species of birds. I want to see birds that I'll look at and I'll be like, wow.
Yeah. Some people consider that a word, because why just like staring into the sky and watching the bird do its thing? Some people will consider it a word. Is it not a word to you?
No, because for me, it's the same thing as watching any other thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as watching television. It's the same thing as watching your food cook. The only difference is that you're watching something that has its own, motives. It has its own mindset. You're trying to observe what it's doing. If it does something, it might have done it for a reason, or it didn't do it for any reason at all. But that's not for you to know. That's the beauty of it. Looking at how something that has no relation to you, no connection to you whatsoever, behaves in its natural habitat. It's something that's the reason we watch all these reality shows, watching other people living their life in their own house. It's the same feeling. So if you ask me, I think it's weird to be people watching than bird watching.
People watching is easier, because obviously everybody likes gossip. So people watching is easier for some people, but then bird watching is still good. I'm a fan of bird watching a lot. I know that some people consider it weird, but I think Tammy has done a great job explaining how that feeling is.
Exactly. And of course, this is the online trend segment of the Morning Pulse show here on CEMTV. I am Emmanuel Taminotenari, but you can call me Tammy for short. And a lot is trending online. I believe at one point Jarvis visited students in the university and asked, will you guys be mean to me, or something like that? And they shouted yes, or would you guys be nice to me? And they shouted no, and then she angrily left the stage. A whole lot of things are trending online, but we're going to pick out two things, and one of them is the continuation of a story we took yesterday of the young man that was attempted to be burnt alive by someone he allegedly stole from. And like I said yesterday, we're still looking forward to the response of the Ycee State Police Command, and they did respond. They arrested the man, and they said preliminary investigations will still be carried out. Here's that video.
In a related development, on the 24th June 2026, at about 19:05 hours, following a report that one Igbo Bumineten Owefa, a son of the traditional ruler of Okodi community, allegedly accused one God gift, Biko, of stealing plank wood, tied him with wire, and subsequently set him ablaze using fuel and a lighter. Upon receipt of the information, the DP immediately swung into action and arrested the suspect. Meanwhile, victim was rescued and taken to a clinic where he is receiving treatment. Preliminary investigation has commenced, and upon conclusion of investigation, suspect will be charged to court. The command strongly condemns all forms of violence, jungle justice, and acts capable of endangering human life. Thank you, and may God bless Bayelsa State and the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
And of course, kudos to CP Iyama Daniel Edebo, and that was a valuable move made by the Ycee State Police Command. And I'm glad that he swung into action rather quickly, because we shouldn't be indirectly or directly encouraging the perpetration of jungle justice. There's a reason it's called jungle justice. It's not orderly. It's not the way it's meant to be. Any little offense will be judged with execution. Now, I'm not saying that, I'm not trying to downplay the act of the young man, Diko, but what I'm trying to say is we have constitutions and laws in place. If he was caught and given to the appropriate authorities and tried in court, the Criminal Act dictates that he would spend at least 3 years in prison, or rather, I think it's a maximum of 3 years in prison, or pay a fine, or even both, if he's found culpable. So these laws are put in place to avoid situations like this, to avoid individuals taking the laws into their own hands. Because if something as this is what they call petty theft. If something as petty as the theft of plywood is the person is sentenced to death, how much more someone that steals food items? How much more someone that involves himself in social vices like secret cultism? How much more someone involved in armed robbery?
Yeah.
What then would you say is because these are crimes that people would say it's worse than what this young man committed? But then, well, as far as I'm concerned, that's a good move by the CP.
Yeah, most definitely. I think it's commendable. I think when we spoke yesterday, I did mention that I would love a follow-up to see what exactly the State Police Command in Bielsa is actually doing about the situation, because no room should be left for people to think that they can actually just do whatever it is that they like to people because these people hurt them or wrong them. And another thing that we should take from here is anger. I want to believe that all of that was from a place of anger. All the action was from a place of anger. As human beings, the difference between us and animals is the fact that we have the ability to control whatever emotions it is that we have going through.
We don't work based on instinct.
We don't work just like that. You have the ability to control or put it in check. You are the control of your own life. So sometimes let anger rest a while, or make sure that you're making decisions not from a place of anger but from a place of clarity. You have thought through, you have even consulted people that you needed to consult, because if he had not reacted immediately, maybe he would have done something different. If he had listened to the neighbor who was trying to stop him at first, maybe he would have done something different. But here we are now, he's going to be facing the court of law and probably even jail term from this action. So that says one thing: the actions you take when you're angry is very important. It can make or break you. So let's be careful, let's be guided when we are making decisions when we are angry.
Exactly. And this goes especially to all my men out there, considering that June is the Men's Mental Health Month. If you know you're liable to bursts of rage, and you're one of the people that you tell yourself, or you tell people that when I'm angry I tend to see red, or I tend to do things I regret, learn to control your anger, go for therapy, do a lot of things, be conscious of your mental health, because it's situations like this, as Vera has said, when you can't control your anger. However, we're still looking forward to preliminary investigations to be commenced, and we're looking forward to the feedback if it was perhaps anger, or maybe he had a vendetta against that young man. Maybe the young man had offended him several times prior, or maybe there was a connection in one form or the other. We'll look forward to the police response after they've done investigations. Now, to the second topic I want to talk about today: the issue of education in Nigeria, or rather the neglect of education in Nigeria. A lot of individuals believe or see it as Nigerians don't value education as much as they did before, and it's because of what some people have termed the Olodo Uprising, where people come online, do stupid things or do crazy things for trends, and it's embraced, it's talked about, it's seen as an act of divinity, and they are giving fame and money in return. So a lot of people have looked at it and have said, then why go to school when I can just do this and do that and become as famous as this person, or even surpass the amount of fame this person has gotten in their short or long career. Now, there's a lot of factors that play into this mentality, but of course I believe I should show you the video first of what popular musician Ycee had to say concerning this particular issue. Here it is.
This Olodo Uprising that we even have right now.
Olodo Uprising?
Yeah, bro. It's terrible. I promise you. It's like we're trying so much to accommodate unintelligent people and ignorant people because we don't want them to feel bad and all these things. So now they're now like the majority. There's a massive attack on the educational system in Nigeria, bro. Aside from like the kidnapping and the Boko Haram, which, like, bro, those guys are literally going at that nerve center. Other factors, leadership not prioritizing things that are important, the society not celebrating academic excellence. People don't even want to go to school anymore. Like, it's just like, why?
It's Yahoo culture.
It's not even just Yahoo culture. Now we have Pella culture. So if we keep rewarding all these guys, like, people see that you just have to just do dumb, crazy, just go online, maybe do some obscene, whatever, and you get clicks, you get numbers, like that's what moves the needle in Nigeria. Then what are you telling, the rest of the impressionable?
Ycee called it the Pella Uprising. And I don't necessarily think Pella has anything to do with it. I think it's more or less, like I said, a lot of factors aligning with what we're having right now. Of course, I don't think I also believe in the Olodo uprising, because most of these people came to that decision because they observed a train of events, they observed the outcome, and they observed the result. So they decided that, what? Why don't I do this, and then the results come through? That is a result of a thinking mind. Now, what they are doing is more or less a persona. It's comedy, even way back in them days when we had, comedians on the stage like Bowie, when they were rising, Basket Mouth. That's what they do. A lot of them, even their physical appearance, the likes of Clint the Drunk, his persona was that of a drunkard, a drunk man. And it's no different from what people do in skits today. It's nothing new. So I won't say it. And most of these individuals are well educated, well read, and they are very literate. It's just that they've seen that in order to entertain people, they need to go to certain extremes. I'm not talking about the negative extremes. I'm talking about the individuals that create a persona of being dumb or being dull or being, slow in a way, or their accent being funny. I'll give you an example. Okaman, that just hear more, So these individuals have seen that this situation, it pays. And I don't think they've advised anyone so far to let go of education. But if you ask me, I think that more or less this lack of interest in education is because of the cost of education itself. According to UNESCO International Institute for Capacity Building in Africa, Nigeria has over 18 million out-of-school children. And that is the highest number found not in Nigeria, not in Africa, but in the world. We have the highest out-of-school children. Primary school completion is only about 59%. That's we're barely scratching above average of the individuals that go through primary school and complete it. And that's for boys. For girls, it's even less. It's 51%. So 51% of girls are likely to finish school, while the remaining are likely to not finish primary school. Now, in secondary school, it's 42% for boys and 36% for girls. So the number even goes below the average. And when you look at all of these factors and you look at the fact that inflation rose at about 34.8% in 2024, that affected the cost of education. Healthcare went up about 103.3%. Transport went about 65%. Education went almost 60% in cost. You see, even when you go to the federal universities, you go to the private universities, their cost of education was massive. Private schools, that's private primary schools, they went up at as high as 63%. Private secondary schools went up as high as 47%. Now, if you go to federal universities went up as high as 380% in cost and student fees. 380%. So if someone was paying 50,000 as their school fees, excluding their departmental fees, SUG fees and all of that, if they were paying 50,000 as their school fees, you can imagine how much that had risen, over 380%. And you can imagine those that study very high, rather very expensive courses, how much that would affect them. And now that's in federal universities. We're not talking about the private university. This is the university that people see that anyone should be able to get into. It is accessible to anyone within the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And some universities, for students that were studying medicine, nursing, law, and the like, their fees and costs went up as high as 500%. So when you see all of these factors, would you then still say that it is the Olodo uprising or the Pella uprising that is, stopping people from going to school, considering that despite these costs, people are still struggling to put themselves in school?
So I'm going to start with saying, I think you said something towards the end, which is that people are being moved by money now more than impact. So most definitely, if I'm trying to, maybe say find a path in my life or what it is I want to do, now in this stage, I'm looking at how much money is it going to fetch me?
Yeah.
Where is the millions? That's where I'm going, and that's why a lot of people are pursuing money instead of making impact, and that's what this generation has been reduced to, unfortunately. Now when Ycee talks about Olodo uprising, I mean to say, I do feel he shouldn't have mentioned Pella's name, but and also mentioning Pella, this is my thought process, right? Now we are in Nigeria, and people who actually painstakingly go to school, get a degree, come out and not glorified enough. There are no jobs for them. As a matter of fact, I think it was a Google that I watched an interview of him, and he said his cook finished school with a first class and was cooking for him as his chef.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So there are people who have gone to school. I think I saw another one somewhere that the HR said the person said he's an HR, and then somebody was applying for a job, and then the person was about a first class student, and it was like, don't worry, we don't have the job for you. Do you understand? So there are not even jobs in place for the people who have gone to school.
Yeah,
they're not glorified enough. Let someone win a science competition now or an art competition or whatever, the highest they're going to get is 1 million naira, 500,000 naira, whatever the case is. We've complained about these things over time, about academics not being appreciated the way it should. We stopped Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yeah,
that's the show that brought out a lot of intellect that you could learn a lot from. A lot of people sat there. Parents, I remember as a child, my dad never allowed us mister. I learned a lot of things from shows like that. But now we have reality TV shows that they do absolutely nothing, but then they come out with hundreds, millions of naira, or even in dollars, in foreign currency. So we are no longer appreciating the hard work that people put to go to school, learn, come out and become successful. You can go to school and finish, be anything you want to be in school and come out, and you are currently nothing, have nothing to show for it. Now, what the youths have done is found a shortcut. And if I am looking at this person, and this person found a shortcut, and is working for this person,
exactly,
and I know that, I don't want to go through the stress when there is nothing in front. I'm going to follow this person and use the shortcut. But if we are balancing it, okay, whatever shortcut you're using, fine, but then let there also be people who have gone to school and are making it from going to school. Let there be opportunities for people who have actually done the work. That way you are still encouraging people. Now nobody wants to be a doctor again, nobody wants to be a lawyer again, nobody wants to be an engineer again, everybody wants to be an influencer, everybody wants to be a social media person, because that is the new. You don't even have to go to school to be all of that. You just need to have the right connections, and then you make money, and then you start spending money, and you're earning in foreign currencies. So this is the hack that the youth have found, and it's obviously working for them. Now it's deteriorating the level of education that we have in Nigeria, which should be the question itself. People like Pella, I saw Javi's video where she was trying to, defend Pella and was like, I went to school, what happened to me? For example, Javi herself has actually had she went to school and she had this AI thing that was working for her perfectly. Like of Bovi that you mentioned, every time I watch Bovi's stand-up comedy, I must learn something. He's a very intelligent man. When he's doing a comedy, he speaks facts. He says something that you're definitely going to learn from. Even the likes of Basket Mouth, it's not just to entertain, let people learn from you as well. Even the Clean to the Drunk that you mentioned, when he does that drunk comedy, he will say something that you will pick from, and
yes, you will definitely.
So at the end of the day, we are just trying to say, let people who are putting in the work, let them be recognized as well. Let them not be moved to the back or relegated to the back. Let them also be seen and appreciated as well.
Well, that's the most we can take on the online trends here on CEMTV's Morning Pulse. I do hope you've learned a thing or two, and if you share the same thoughts as Ycee, you can be sure to let us know why. There are social media handles shown on your screen right there. You can of course follow us on all social media handles at CEMTVPLUS and watch us live on YouTube at CEMTVPLUS. I am Emmanuel Tamuno Tenari, but you can call me Tammy for short, and of course I've had a beautiful time with the weather oracle Vera Philip.
Thank you so much, Tammy. Thank you.
Exactly. Later on in the day, we'll be back to bring you some more gist with Jolly Life. But before that, enjoy the new surgery coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Worried about the state of your world? Need better and broader ideas?